I agree with that. I think we need to rerun all the ballots.
You know, specific to like the elections. Obviously, with it being a long night and an eventful night, and having to call in the big guns from ESS to come in and do what they did to try to get everything back online from
Yes.
software issues and stuff like that. You know, there's a, you know, I've been kind of going through some of these numbers, and it looks like there's a few anomalies in these numbers to me, just a guy off the street. And I guess my question is, you know, I know the struggle that these guys were under over here at the county clerk's office, okay?
Yes.
I mean, we all, I think, are very aware of that struggle.
Yes.
And then the ESS rep ended up handling all the ballots herself.
Yes.
And the technician was on site to make sure everything ran smoothly once we got the thing back on track. My question is, you know, as county judge, you know, is it incumbent on, incumbent's probably not the best word to use, but is it fair to say that the public and the voters should have a manual count of the ballots just to ensure that the numbers are accurate? Because like I say, you know, the little numbers that I'm looking at on my end, you know, there's a couple of races. There's a couple of races that had the same number of total votes, and then there was a couple of races, and these were uncontested races, but there's a couple of numbers that show up on the election day votes that were the same. And what's the chances of these anomalies happening?
Yes.
You know, and would it be fair? Would it be a fair assessment to say, you know, I tell you what, you know, let's go ahead and do a recount just to make sure all the numbers are correct?
You know,
because
I agree with that. I think as far as a recount, I do agree that we need to rerun all the ballots. ESS, the software or the manufacturer of the vote counting machine, and that's a fairly new machine. I think the warranty it's less than 2 years old. I'd seen some quotes from, you know, Newton County's ancient equipment, but hey, it's the latest machine that they built. You know, it's 2 years old.
Sure.
So, but it had a software issue, and then before that, the county clerk's integrity was questioned.
Sure.
So she made the decision to get support from ESS, have a tech on site, and also have them run the ballot so nobody from the clerk's office could be accused of doing anything with the ballots.
Yeah.
You know, so the technician, you know, operated the machine from start to finish, run all the ballots.
Yeah.
So
I witnessed that myself.
So, and you know, the clerk's office, they didn't want any more integrity questions
Sure.
over this election.
Yeah.
And I agree with them. So, but as far as I do agree, we need to rerun the ballots.
Need to look at that.
Need to look at it and make sure everything is, you know, and I don't think it'll make much difference, but I do feel like it does need to happen.
I think from a standpoint, it may not make much difference from a standpoint of numbers. I think it makes it reiterates the position that, you know, all this hope and change and all this transparency talk and hopefully, you know, trust in
Yes.
county government. I think maybe it matters on that point.
But you know, you look at the boxes that had the same totals, you know, but they didn't get the same amount in every voting box. You know, it was just weird how everything, the numbers totaled up to the same. And I didn't manually sit there
Sure.
and add up the boxes.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was different totals in boxes.
Right.
But the end number ended up the same.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, to me, just going off this report that I received, you know, talking about these races. I mean, you know, we had the tax assessor collector's total number and the county clerk's total numbers ended up the same, right?
Yes.
At 1,923. And then, so that was like, okay, well, what, you know, it's an anomaly, but it may not be too crazy, right? Mm-hmm. And then we look at the district clerk's election day total was the same as the election day total for the county clerk at 1,057. And so to me, I'm just sitting here going, okay, you know, I mean, I get it. A blind sow finds an acorn every once in a while, but you know, the chances of a blind sow finding all the acorns, or maybe, you know.
Yeah. And
I mean, does that make sense? I mean, so I feel like just from a standpoint, you know, I just wanted to know your opinion on that. If you felt like that was something that we needed to do.
It could be possibly that's how it came out. You know,
Sure.
but we want to make 100% sure.
Exactly.
You know, you got the same amount of people voting for the district clerk, for the county clerk.
Yeah.
You know, and it does seem odd that the numbers came out exactly the same.
Yeah.
But
well, and then there was almost 500. I think it was over 400 for sure. So I'll say that it was over 400 people voted in the propositions that didn't vote in the actual for the people. I thought that was interesting. Now, granted, I'm still learning some of this too. You know, so I mean, it's not like I'm an election wizard. You know,
but you know, some of those. Did you take into account the Democratic votes too?
No, I was mainly looking at the Republican primary.
Okay, so some of those 400 difference could be in the Democratic vote, because if we're looking at the Republican total.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is like with these uncontested races.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here going, okay, well, yeah, and you may very well be right. I mean, there might be 400 people over on the Democratic side that voted. I mean, I haven't seen those numbers.
I haven't seen those numbers yet either.
So,
but you know, you take people that come along and, you know, there were 7 for governor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they don't know them.
Sure.
You know, and
you get wore out about
some of the races. You don't know any no name recognition.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who don't vote in uncontested races.
They skip them.
They'll skip on past them. So.